There's nothing more natural than a mother breastfeeding her baby, but sometimes misunderstandings arise when a mother decides to nurse in public. Hello, I'm Jo Mathis. Welcome to Access Ann Arbor. We're talking today with Michigan State Representative Rebecca Warren, who has introduced a bill that would allow a woman to breastfeed anywhere she may legally be in the state of Michigan. Also joining us is public health researcher Kelly Lee, co-chair of the Washtenaw County Breastfeeding Coalition, and Kelly Fuchs of Ann Arbor, who was asked to not breastfeed her baby at the edge of the pool at the Y 4 years ago. That led to a protest that led the Ann Arbor City Council to pass an ordinance that says breastfeeding is protected in places that are open to the public within the city of Ann Arbor. Rebecca, why is this legislation so important?
I think we all know that breastfeeding is the healthiest choice for both moms and the babies, and we need to do everything we can to take down the barriers that would keep a woman from breastfeeding as long as she possibly can. One of the things that we hear often is that the fear of harassment or misunderstandings, like you said, being asked to leave a place or being asked to breastfeed or nurse her baby in a public restroom, anything that we can do to reduce those barriers so that women will feel comfortable nursing their babies, I think is a really important thing for us to do.
And Kelly, tell us about what's going on nationally in the workplace regarding breastfeeding.
Yes, big important things happened this spring. President Obama signed into law with the healthcare reform bill a requirement for employers of 50 or more employees to have time and space for mothers to express their milk while they're at work up until the baby's first year of birthday. So here in Washtenaw County, we're looking to support and acknowledge companies that are already doing this. We have the Washtenaw County Breastfeeding Coalition has an awards program, and we are looking to give gold, silver, and bronze awards to companies who are already providing great support for their employees. And importantly, this year we're expanding our awards to recognize businesses that support their breastfeeding customers, so restaurants and other public places like the Y, where breastfeeding mothers can come and feel comfortable and supported. We're looking to give awards to them as well.
Kelly, do you know of recent situations where breastfeeding moms have been discriminated against?
Actually, I'm happy to say in Ann Arbor, I haven't heard of any recently. As a Little HA League leader, we have mothers attend the meetings, and I am not hearing stories about being asked to leave public places. I do know that here in Michigan, there are still incidents going on around the state, and I think that this is why what Representative Warren is doing is so important for all of us, because it seems that when you are given legal ground for something that should be your right that you're born with for a child to be able to eat, and that seems to make all the difference that we need in order to feel comfortable, not have social barriers that cause mothers to potentially stop breastfeeding in some instances because these stigmas are entrenched and they're made to feel very uncomfortable oftentimes.
Kelly, sometimes you'll hear people say, well, why can't the mother just go into the restroom and nurse, or just go take the baby home? What would you say to that?
Yes, we hear that a lot. It's actually it's a common misunderstanding, and I think it happens just kind of innocently, that people are just not understanding the real relationship that a mother has with her breastfeeding baby is not the same as a formula-fed baby. There's much more of a dance that goes on, so the mother and baby are working together, and one day they might be needing to nurse every 30 minutes or every 20 minutes. You never really can predict how often they might be needing to be at the breast. And so to say that to a mother really is confining to her. And I actually work with WIC moms as well, our low-income population in the county. And I hear a lot from them saying that they are just not comfortable being out. So they will try to pump a bottle or bring a bottle of formula, and they're trying to do it both ways so that they can still be out and about and have a life. But really they're putting their breastfeeding relationship at risk by trying to do that. And so that's why we want to just completely take that out of the equation and let them feel comfortable being wherever they would normally be.
I also think it creates a lot of separation. I had one friend tell me that she didn't like the idea that she couldn't nurse her baby in somewhere that she could be with her family, that she wanted to be able to experience her life and watch her older children participate in activities, and to be asked to leave and is really separating them. And to be asked to go to the restroom is just kind of out of the question. You wouldn't, even if you don't breastfeed, you wouldn't eat your lunch in the bathroom, and you wouldn't give your baby a bottle in the bathroom, or goldfish, or whatever kind of snack you're going to give a child, even a child who's older. You would not feed your child in the restroom. We don't do that.
Rebecca, how does Michigan compare to other states on this issue?
Well, sad to say, we're kind of bringing up the rear. We're one of just 7 states that don't have an affirmative right to breastfeed in public. And it's one of the reasons I got involved in the legislation at the state level. I mean, obviously the work that Kelly did with local activists, with city council members here in Ann Arbor, we were able to pass the ordinance that we were, so that you do have protections within the city of Ann Arbor. And I think sometimes we forget that's a little bit of a bubble here sometimes. And I had another constituent who wrote in who had an experience outside of Ann Arbor, but still in Washtenaw County. And in doing the research, it's shocking that 43 other states have an affirmative right to breastfeed in public. And so for us, the only thing we have is that a mother cannot be prosecuted for public indecency if she breastfeeds in public, which is very different. And what we hear often, Kelly referred to a couple of these cases in Southeast Michigan recently, where a woman was asked to leave a Target store who was nursing her baby, or a woman who was asked to leave a restaurant, a Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant. And we think it's a lot of confusion without the legal grounds, and it's, you have a customer complaint, or you have a young server, a young manager in a restaurant who doesn't know what to do, and they are they allowed to do that? Is that legal? So we just think having an affirmative right to nurse anywhere you're legally allowed to be. We're not saying go somewhere you're not supposed to be. We don't want women in the men's room or the men's locker room, but where we have a right to legally be, we should be able to feed babies.
What kind of reaction are you getting?
It's interesting. We had a committee hearing in the Judiciary Committee in the House of Representatives, and we did vote the bill out of committee with a bipartisan, overwhelming bipartisan vote. So that was very nice for us, and it's been sitting on the House floor on the calendar for a while. So we're hopeful to get a vote on the full House floor in the fall when we pick up our heavy lifting legislative agenda again. But it's interesting. Like there's just a lot of folks, I think, who have questions, and so they've asked things like, should there be an age limit? Like, should you, put into the legislation up until a year or up until 18 months so a woman can breastfeed? And my response to that really is that I think that women and their doctors need to be the final arbiters of when the right time to nurse or to decide to switch fully to solid food is. I don't want to be the age police for little ones. I have 13 nieces and nephews, and some of them were born and they were really tiny. Some were bigger and they looked like toddlers when they were first born. I don't want to ask moms like 13 months or 11 months because you might be legal or illegal. And the other question we get a lot is really about discretion. Some folks are nervous, like, will I see too much if women are breastfeeding in public? Can we write into the legislation that they have to be discreet? And again, I don't think we can legislate discretion. And I honestly think if 43 other states are doing this and we're not hearing overwhelming reports of gross indecency and women with their tops off feeding their babies, I don't think we're going to see it in Michigan either.
Right. Kelly, in the meantime, what can businesses do to make moms feel more welcome?
Well, there's two sides of the coin to look at for that. There's businesses who are supporting their employees who are returning to work,